Okay. Gonna work. Yeah, close enough. It's like I'm at the dentist. Okay. Alright, I think that will work. I think I'm ready. So I'm just getting warmed up now then, and I thought it would be fun to, well, I was going to sit down and do my favorite scale exercise right now anyway, so I thought it might be fun to stream it and show you what it is in case you want to do it at home. So I'm not sure if I can like do it and explain it, so we will see. And I call it the snake. And you will soon find out why. But I just need to move my fingers a little bit first. what's up, Shabazz? Yeah, that's a very good question. So, like I'm about to show the scale exercise, and I think I'm going to do it with 2 fingers. But I also like to sometimes play scales with 3 fingers. So, you do A, M, I on the same string. I really don't know. Can you see that on camera? I don't know if you can. Like this. Something like that. So, I'm not super comfortable doing that, but it kind of seems like it might be good for a lot of things, you know. But I like to do it to warm up, though, because, I mean, you're warming up all 3 of those fingers, so. When I warm up, I like to do it, and then I like to try and make the same type of sound with each finger. And maybe in the future that will be like my go-to scale technique, but it's not quite comfortable yet. I can sit down and practice it, and it starts feeling pretty comfortable, but I have to work my way there. There, I think now you can see. But for me, it's all about sound. My favorite sound is 2 fingers. So, hey, thanks, Shabazz. I appreciate that. Very nice of you to say. Thanks for hanging out in the stream. But last thing I'll say about three finger scales is I think it's great for technical practice. Like, I've been practicing them for a long time, even when I really couldn't use them in any music at all, because like you're working on every finger being equal in terms of like strength and volume and ability. You know, it's like sound control. So I mean, you're going to be doing that stuff anyway. So just practicing a slow scale using all 3 fingers, I think, is great work. And I started by doing like 3 notes or 3 plucks on 1 note, like A, M, I, A, M, I, A, M, I, to get used to it. Anyway. So I think it's great to practice. Yeah, Shabazz, you know, fingernail issues are a real thing. You know, one of my favorite guitarists is Vicente Amigo, and he uses extremely short nails. So, and I just heard someone play recently, a friend of mine, and I never really heard him play before, and he had the same type of thing going on. He used really short nails, but there's a special kind of quality I think you can get with that you don't get with the nails being longer. Mine are kind of like medium long. Maybe ideally, like I'm playing right now and I'm thinking I probably should do them. I think they're a little bit long, but alas, I'm lazy, so I'm not gonna do that. But I think you can make it work either way. And for scales, I mean, short nails, like the less resistance, I think the better. So. And then I like 3-finger scales a lot, but then I always find myself saying like, well, you should make it sound like a 2-finger scale. So then I'll try so hard, and it will like sometimes almost sound like a 2-finger scale. But then I'll play a 2-finger scale, and then it like sounds like what I'm looking for, and I think, well, I guess I should just play them like that. But I like to practice scales all type. You can even do, my teacher showed me like MIP scales, but do it free stroke or tirando. So it's like MIP, 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 MP, MIP, MIP. And then coming down, thumb goes first, so it's P, MI, P, MI, P, M, P, MI, P, MI, P, MI, something like that. That's pretty cool fingering. So, it's fun to practice all different kind of combinations. Oh man, BIMA is great. Like, it's so useful. You can just do arpeggios, like. That kind of stuff is really beneficial for finger styles. Resources, I would probably say check out Scott Tennett's book called Pumping Nylon. I'll type it for you in the chat. If you want kind of like a good general it's going to run through like classical guitar techniques that are important and kind of like formulas like tremolo and arpeggios and things like that. It's pretty well rounded. You know, you probably won't need to go through like every page in the book, but if you look at it and kind of, you know, see what you need, it's great for that kind of stuff. So I would say that book. Besides that, there's a guy named Matt Palmer that has a 3-finger scale book. And I have it somewhere. I mean, I'm not sure if I have it. I've read it. So, some of that stuff is kind of obvious, but maybe some of it is not so obvious. So if you're interested in 3-finger scales, that book has a lot of good information. So I would say those 2 places. Yeah, man, no problem. If I can help you out with lessons, feel free to let me know. Okay, so I'm going to give it a go in this exercise. So this exercise, I call it the snake. So the reason I call it the snake is, so the first cell phone that I ever had was like this big, okay? It was like a Nokia or something, which is actually not too big. I remember my dad's first cell phone was like this big. It's like a walkie-talkie, okay? I was in high school. I got my first one. It was this big, and it had the display on it where it's like the green background and it just like was the black dots, whatever you call that. And it had one game on it, and the one game was Snake. So I think it's like the arcade classic. You start out with like a dot in the screen, and then you're the head of the snake, and you move the number keys to go and you eat the dot. I guess it's like the food, right? And then now you're 2 heads worth long, the snake is. So then another piece of food appears and you have to go and eat it. Okay, now you're 3, so you get longer and longer, right? And then when you run into your own tail when you're trying to get the food, that's when the game's over. And then the longer you get, the harder it is. So that's why I call this the snake, and you'll see why. So I've heard a number of different great scale players, people like Godisha Goryachev, Jorge Caballero, Ruben Diaz. They talk about practicing scales as an impulse, and they say it should be one thing. Like, it's easy to play a chord, and you're like, well, that's one thing, duh. But they say when you play a scale, you should think of it the same. You shouldn't think of it as all these notes. They say you should just think of it as like starting from a place and then ending at a place, and that be one thing, and to think of it that way. So, and then they talk about practicing like short scales and long scales and stuff. And then, my practice, like, I feel like I neglect the short scales because I want to play the long scales. I want to play the 40-note long scales like these guys can do, and they sound amazing. But I feel like I skip over the smaller stuff sometimes, okay? So I came up with this exercise where you start with just one note, and then you just add one note at a time, and then you can have it go for as long as you want, right? And, I've seen some people do exercises kind of like this, but what makes this one different is it's kind of like a revolving door, because you're going to do the groupings, but you just keep doing the scale up and down in a continuous cycle until you've done all possible groupings with whatever number you're working with. And then once you start over at the grouping that you began with, then you're done. You've done all possible patterns. Then we're going to add a note, do it again. Okay. So I'll show you what it is in case you want to play along at home. So I'm going to do, and there's some scales that this doesn't seem to work for. I've found a few that I'm like, I don't think this works here. But any box position scale where you have your 4 fingers going across 4 frets, and then that's your fingering, right? It just depends on what finger you need. I think any box position scale will work. So I'm going to use the box position Phrygian scale because I like Spanish sounds, and I like the Phrygian scale. And I'm going to do it in 5th position. So here's the scale in case you want to go back and learn it, or you can learn it with me now. 1, 2, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, 3. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. And then coming back down, it's the same thing, just reverse. So we played 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 3, 1, 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1. That's the scale I'm going to be using. Okay, and I will say, before you try this, you should be able to go up and down. You don't have to be able to do it fast, but be able to go up and down like continuously, and it doesn't throw you off. just for comfort. Just for comfort. Okay, so here's the exercise. I kind of just did it, but I like to start with just one note. And then I'm going to make sure when I do this, always choose a scale technique. So I'm going to choose IM rest stroke. And then you could practice starting on different fingers at the beginning, but I'm going to make sure I always start on the same finger because I guess I want to keep it simple. So I'm always going to start it on I. So I just play the scale one note at a time, nice and easy, nice big loud notes. And I'm kind of thinking about each note being its own thing. Okay, so that's kind of like warm up. Now we're actually going to start the snake. So we did one note, now we're going to do two. So now we're going to do 1, 2, and just go up the scale that way. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Now there's no other possible iterations of that because when I started on this note again, I was back to my I finger, and now if we were to do it again, it would just be the same, right? So that won't always happen, but it happens with two notes. Okay, so now we did two notes, cool. So we ate the piece of food with the snake. Now let's add another note. So now we got 3. So now I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Same scale, same fingering, just in 3-note bursts. Now when I get to the bottom, the next group of 3 starts here, and we haven't done that yet. So I'm not done, I keep going. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And now the groupings are still 3, but they're different. Now am I done? No, I'm still not done. Because my next one, my first note is this, so I'm going to keep going. Now I'm done. Because now when I start that last grouping, I start on the same note that I started on originally, okay? So that's a full, complete cycle of 3 notes. Now I'm going to add another one and do 4. And that one only has one repetition up and down because you start, you go up, you come back down. Then when you get back to this note, you're starting at the same note that you started with. So sometimes I do that a second time just because, you don't get many repetitions. So I'll do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 4, now 5. The snake gets another piece of food. He's longer, now it's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, because I know I'm not going to finish where I started, I'm just going to keep on going and keep the pattern going until I finish where I started. Always groups of 5. Still not finished because I haven't started here yet, which is where we are. Hold on. Still going, not done yet. Still going, not done. Sorry. Now we're we started the initial run. So that was 5. And then we're just going to keep going. I've been going from like 1 to 15. And that's where I've been saying, okay, I think that's long enough. So I'll probably try to do that right now. And then, what was I about to say? Oh, some of the even numbered patterns you only do once. Some of the odd numbered patterns you do a lot. I think if I remember like 13 or maybe 11, it just takes a long time. You could do like a mathematical formula, I guess, to figure out how many repetitions you do, but I'm not that smart. So I just play it until I get back to where I started. So we just did 5, now let's do 6. Start where I started from originally, so I'm done. Okay, now let's do 7. And as the snake gets longer, you know, probably my favorite thing about this exercise is you are working with the impulse. I mean, you start with a very small impulse, about as small as you can, as small as you can get, and then you're elongating it. 1 note at a time. And so I'm going to try and continue to feel the one impulse thing even as the snake gets longer and longer, best that I can. And I find it helps to pause in between the groupings, like to take your time. So there's no rush. Like that. And then as the groups get longer, I count it out first. So I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm on 7. So I counted 7. So now I'm going to start here and end here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So then I'll just play the run and I'll try and feel that impulse. So I'm not counting anymore. I'm just like, I've counted out to make sure I'm playing the right notes, the right grouping, 7 notes, and then I just try and feel it. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I just try and feel da 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 da. Still not done. Still not done. Now I'm done. Because I'm going to start where I originally started with the group of 7. And then in a minute I'll tell you a funny story about this exercise involving me and a friend. So we did 7, now let's do 8. So I'm going to count it out first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So from here to here. And now I'm just going to play it and try and feel the grouping. And that one only has 1 repetition. So I'll do it one more time. Something like that. Okay, let's do 9, and then it's story time. Okay, 9. So I'm gonna count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Still going. Still going, almost there. But not there yet. And now I'm done. Because I ended where I started. So my funny story is, here's my funny story. Man, I've been getting spam calls like all day. Some days it's just like all day long. So I came up with this exercise like years ago, and I'll kind of like forget about it and then remember it like, oh yeah, you know, whatever. So lately I've been practicing it and enjoying it for like a couple weeks now. But when I was in school, I was getting my master's degree. Me and one of my friends in the guitar program, we used to get together at school on the weekends and practice technique together because we were both total nerds. And the nerdiest people in the program. And so it would go like we'd find an empty room or a hall and just kind of throw out exercises like, oh, let's do this for arpeggios or whatever. And so we do it, practice technique. So one day we'd been doing it for a couple hours, and I was like, oh, let's do this scale exercise that I've been doing. And I just threw it out there, not really thinking about it. And when I first started doing this, I remember it tripping me up a lot because some of the groupings I just wasn't used to. I didn't practice very much, so they felt weird. So I threw it out to my buddy, and pretty quick he started like really stumbling with it. And then he started to get frustrated. And I was just kind of like, okay. You know, I had the competitive thing going on. But, you know, the same thing happened to me when I first tried to do it. I had to get used to the, you know, all the different groupings and all that kind of stuff. So it was just kind of funny. We were only able to get so far with it, you know. But it, you know, I think it does take a little bit of time to kind of get used to and not trip up too much. Although, you know, I still find it tripping me up from time to time. Okay, we did 8, I think. So now we're going to do 9. So first I'm going to count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hey, Bubby. What are you doing, Bubby? Where have you been? You better not chewy that. That's no chewies. That's no chewies that. That's no good boy. That's no good boy. That's no good boy. Watch it. Still going with 9, not done yet. Oh, I forgot my fingering. There it is. Still going, not done yet. 9's a long one, I guess. Unless I messed up. Now we're done. So that was 9. Okay, I have to turn my fan on just for a minute. Sorry if it's loud, but I'm hot. Surely that's not too bad. Oh, that feels nice. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna do 10. I'm not actually hot. I just wanted the Steve Vai effect. You know, makes me play better. Okay, now we're gonna do 10. So first I'm gonna count out 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I know it's from here to there. Okay. Now I just try to duplicate that impulse. Messed up. Yeah, 10 is decent length one. Alright. One more, 11. So count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So from here to here. Now I feel the impulse. And just try and duplicate it. And we're done. So that was 11. Okay. And there's a couple of things I think this really helps. One thing is like whatever scale pattern you're doing, it's really going to beat it into your muscle memory, right? Which, if you want to play a good scale, it probably has to be in your muscle memory pretty good. I don't think you really have time to think about all the notes you're about to play. And the other thing is, you know, I'm trying to find a really functional... Well, I'm trying to develop a scale technique. What I call a technique is like pretty much almost a 100% reliable mechanism. Like, if you're nervous, it doesn't matter. If you're not warmed up, doesn't really matter. If you forget what to do next, doesn't matter. It's going to do it. That to me feels like a technique. So I can play some decent scales sometimes, but I can't feel out the technique yet. So I'm trying to think of like, what do I need to focus on to make it very, very reliable? And so that I don't get any snagitis going on over here with the fingers getting caught. And right now I'm just thinking about my arm and my shoulder and like the very specific angle. So it doesn't matter if you're thinking about that or something else. I think as you're doing all these runs, it just gives you a great opportunity to focus on whatever your main focus is the whole time. No matter what it is. And it could be speed, you could be trying to go real fast, or it could just be evenness. And that's also really important. It could be volume, or it could be some kind of movement. So that's what I really like about it. Okay, what was that? I forgot. That was 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think that was 11. Okay, let's do 12. So I'm going to count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So from here to here. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try and feel it now. Well, that wasn't a very long one. Disappointing. Expectations were not met. Okay, if you're just joining, I will explain the exercise here again in a bit. If you're like, what the hell is he doing? Okay, so let's do 13 notes now. So I'm gonna count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Did I just do that one? I don't think so. Okay. I remember 13 is a long one. It might be the longest one. And we are done. Yeah, that was a long one. Okay. Now let's do 14. So I'm going to count it out first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it's from here to here. Okay, now I'm going to try and just feel the impulse. And we're done. Okay, that was a decent length one. Alright, now 15. After 15, I think that's a long enough snake. So first count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So from here to here. Now I'm going to feel it as an impulse. I'm so itchy. Oh, almost, but still going. Still going. Oh, now we're done. That may have been the longest one. Best for last. And that is the snake. Okay. So, in case you're asking yourself, what is the snake? I'm going to explain it. Because I want to do the whole thing again, but just with a different technique. So, hey buddy. Hi. So I call this exercise the snake because it works on like impulse, and it starts with the shortest possible impulse, which is just one note, and then it adds a note, so you have two notes, adds another note, so then it's 3, and then it just keeps adding. And I just got finished going all the way up to 15. So it's like the old arcade game Snake, if you're familiar with that, where each time you eat the little piece of food, your tail gets a little longer and the game becomes more difficult. And I think it's important because you're working on the impulse of a scale, and maybe you're starting out by feeling it in smaller chunks, and then as you get to the longer chunks, you want to have that same feeling. You just want it to apply to whatever length the chunk is. Like I mentioned earlier, there's some scales that I know that this doesn't seem to work with. Like I tried it with this one. It goes like this. It didn't really seem to work with that. But any box position scale, I think it works. So if you know any type of box position scale, it's probably a good bet that it'll work. You just have to know what scale you're doing, and then you have to be able to practice it up and down. Continuous fashion, I think, to be able to do this exercise. And then we're not doubling the roots or anything like that. We're not doing that. So I just did it with 2 fingers, I and M. I want to try it now with 3 fingers, A and I. Which won't really mean anything to you unless you're doing it with me. So I'll give it a few minutes and I'll start the exercise again. Okay. So I'm going to start it again. I'm going to do AMI fingering this time. Still rest stroke. But it'll sound the same. So I'm going to start just on one note, even though it's not really a burst, but just to kind of feel, I don't know, seems like a good place to start. So nice and slow. Trying to be 100% accurate. Get the sounds you're looking for. Some vibrato maybe. Okay. So now let's start adding to the tail. So it's 2 notes. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, and since we ended up ending on the same note and the same finger that we started with, now I say, okay, we're done. Now we're going to do another grouping, so let's do 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we didn't. Now our next iteration starts here, so we didn't end where we started, so we have to keep going. It's the rules. Can't break the rules. Rules are unbreakable. I'm a stickler for rules. Ended there, that's where we started, so we're done. So add another note, now it's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we ended where we started, so that one's pretty quick. I'm gonna do it again just for fun. Okay, so now let's do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope. Still haven't ended where we started because now we're starting here. So keep going. That's the rules. Can't break them. Where is I here? Now we ended where we started, so we're done. You know, what I consider a rule when I practice this is if I mess up and I don't know, if I can't find where I was in the pattern, I make myself start over. Not the whole thing, but like whatever group I'm doing, I'll have to start over at that group because I really want to be sure I practice all the possibilities with that grouping. And if I'm just going to guess, if I forget where I am, if I mess up, then I may have missed them. So I'll actually make myself start over. If I can find it, I'll usually just keep going. But if not, I kind of consider that a rule as well. Okay, that was 6. So let's do 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7's kind of a long one. Okay. Now 8. So first I'm going to count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. No, that's not right. 8 only happens one time, so I'll do it again just for fun. Okay, so we'll add another one now. Let's do 9. Hi, Bobby. Good morning. Still going. No. I think I forgot. I think I was there. I'm just gonna say I am. Mine's a long one. There we go. That was a long one. Okay, now 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now I try and feel the impulse. That's 10. Alright, now add another one, so we got 11. So first I'm going to count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So from here to here. Now just trying to feel the impulse. Now I end where I started, so that was done. Okay, let's add another note. So let's do 12. So first I'm going to count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So from here to here. Now I just try and feel that impulse. let's do 13. I think this is a long one. So let's count it first. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So from here to here. Now I'm trying to feel the impulse. That was a long one. 13's a long one. Okay, let's add a note. Let's do 14. So first, count it out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now I just try and feel that impulse. I may have messed up. I'm not sure. I'm going to pretend like I didn't. I don't think I messed up. That felt about right for 13. Kind of long, but not too long. All right, last one. Let's add one more and do 15. So first, I'm going to count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now I'm trying to just feel the impulse. Is that right? I need to start over. 15's like save the best for last. Yeah, so that's the snake. It's my favorite scale exercise right now. So I feel like I want to do it one more time, and then like maybe make dinner or something after that. Hi, buddy. Hi. So I have 2 sleeping cats in the room. They're not bothered by loud guitar sounds, I guess. They're sleeping like little babies. He's sleeping. He's having a good nap. He's having a good nap. Yeah. I'm trying to decide what fingering I want to do. It's a tough decision. I think I want to do this one. Yeah, so I'm going to do AMI, which I just did, but this time I'm going to do free stroke, or tirando, instead of rest stroke. Let's change our position. How about 3rd position? G Phrygian. What do you think, Chappie? G Phrygian? Chappie says okay. Okay, so let's do the snake. So I'm just going to play the pattern up and down. This is essentially what it is. Just the box, four finger box pattern for the G Phrygian scale. No doubling the root or anything like that, except we're going to do all variations of bursts. So I'm going to start with 1, then we'll do 2, 3, 4, just keep adding 1 note at a time, and I'm going to stop at 15. So just like to do it with 1 note at a time, just kind of because. So nice and slow. Try and get your technique really consistent. Whatever it is that makes that work. No chewies that. No sir. No chewies that. That's why it's there. It's to trap you. So I'm find out who did it. They ruined they've ruined 2 pair of headphones now because I come in and someone's chewed through the wire. Hey, no. So I left the old chewed wire on the floor so they will see it and I can see who the culprit is. And they both do it, so I don't know who it was. Yeah, that's not for chewy ink. Okay, so that was 1. Let's do 2 notes. Okay, and since I ended right where I started, and if I were to do it again, it would just be the same. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Now I'm gonna do 3. Alright, so now we're done with that. Let's do 4. Quattro. That only takes one time, so I'm gonna do it again just for fun. Okay, now 5. Cinco. Ahora 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still going. Not there yet. Still going. Now we're done. So, quintuplets, yeah, they're tricky for sure. Unis Tom? Is that how to say your name? Can I just call you Tom? Yeah, quintuplets are definitely a weird feeling, you know, especially if you're only used to practicing like 2 or 4 or 3 or whatever. So we did that. Now let's do group 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sextuplets. And then I'm done because I finished where I started, so we just be doing it again. Thanks, Unis Tom. Yeah, I try and be clean, you know, as clean as I can be. You know, I did a online recital like a few weeks ago, and I listened to it, and I heard these plucking hand little noises sometimes. Like sometimes my finger would like accidentally touch a string like on the back side when the string was ringing, and it would make like a little thing like that. Or sometimes I'd pluck a string and I would hit the string behind it, and like it really bothered me. I was just like, can you not do that? So I'm trying to be clean. Okay, now let's do a group of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No. That's what I want. Still going. Still going, almost there. And now I'm done. 7. Yeah, I've got that problem, so I'm working on it. Okay, so we just did 7, now let's do 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You better watch it. Hey, you better watch it. He's a good boy. 8. Forget 8 only has 1 repetition. So I do it again. So it doesn't feel left out. Okay. What did you do to fix that problem, Unis Tom? I'd be interested to hear. While I do a group of 9. So let's count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. slower and strong focus on what my fingers were doing. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing. And I just, like, especially my A finger, sometimes I notice it goes too far. So I just try and... These two are much better about relaxing. They don't go too far. But this guy likes to go too far, so I have to, like, watch it. Okay, now let's do 10. So first I'm going to count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now I'm going to feel the impulse. And done. Alright, in just a minute I'll do 11. Hi, buddy. Hi. Hi, dear. Hi. Hi. Okay. Now 11. First I counted out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So now just try and feel the impulse. Hey, no, Chappie, no. Good boy, good boy. That's not good. That's not good. Now I gotta start over. I don't remember where I was. Yeah, because you're very bad. Because you're being very bad. Okay, I gotta start over because my cat was bad. Man, 11, yeah. So I'm gonna go all the way up to 15. That's kind of where I peter out. So you can go longer than that, but it's also easier when you don't have a cat misbehaving at your feet. So I'm not lucky that way. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hey, no, no, sir. No, is what I said. No, Chewy's that. No. Hey, stop it. No, Chappie, no. I said no. You can't chew that. It's for your own protection. It's for your own protection. You can't chew it. No. What if it was plugged into the wall? Yeah. You'd be fried kitty. Okay, now I gotta start over again. Yeah, man, I got 2 cats. I can't show you right now, but oh yeah, I can. Let's see if I can find a cat. This is Chappie. Say hi, Chappie. Say, I'm being very bad. There's a wire on the floor, and I just really want to chew it. I just really want to chew it. I know I'm not supposed to chew wires. I know it's for my own protection. I just can't help it. I see a wire and I want to chew it. Yeah. And I have a girl. This is Chappie. He's my boy. And I have a girl. And she's asleep across the room. I love you. But you can't chew the wire. You can't chew the wire. I'm sorry. You never can. Not for your whole life can you chew it. They're my babies. Thanks. Okay, so I was trying to do 11. I can't get through it. Now let's see if I can get through it. 11. Alright, now let's add 1 and do 12. So count it out first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now, ooh, sorry, I can feel chappy hair in my face. Now just do the impulse. Where was it? 12 wasn't very long. I'm slightly disappointed in 12. Hey, thanks, Unis Tom. I've been practicing this exercise for a little bit. Like, I've been practicing it for a couple weeks every day. So the weird numbers they do throw me off sometime, but I figure if you can just kind of start and stop wherever in the pattern, and it doesn't throw you off, it's probably like good for something. So, well, I mean, probably if you can do that, then whatever scale you have to play, it should feel doable, right? So that was 12. Now we're gonna do 13. Yeah, man, hard work, that's the stuff. I was having a lesson this morning, and I was teaching this kid, and he's such a sweetest little kid, and he's really smart. But I'm trying to tell him, like, man, you got to play your guitar, and the point isn't getting across. So, but you know, I guess it's not for everybody. So let's see. Let's do 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right. I think 13 is the long one. It's a long one, huh? So, yeah, I think this is a cool sounding exercise. Yeah, man, I think so. I think that's the longest one. I think it's the longest. I think if you go up to 15, I think 13 is the longest one. I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of mathematical equation, but I don't really do those. You know? So. Okay, let's do 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. Yeah, I don't got time for math. But I actually do think, like, it's valuable if you can just feel one of these groupings. I think that seems valuable to me. I think that's also what this exercise works on. And that's 14. So that wasn't too long. Okay, 15. I think 15 is pretty long. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, Oh, where was I? Still going. And done. 15 was a pretty long one. I think 13 was the longest though. What do you think? Yeah, man, it's I agree. You get some cool like phrases. You get some phrases that start and end in weird places or abnormal places. So you get some cool sounding stuff. So anyway, that's gonna pretty much do it for me. Thank you, Unis Tom. Thanks for hanging out with me, man. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good rest of your day or night, whatever it is for you. And I'm thinking about streaming more. I don't know. I just kind of thought it might be fun, just to. I mean, if I have a couple hours to play the guitar, I was like, well, maybe you should just stream and talk to people. So, thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate it. Man, spam people are just blowing up my phone today. So, hey, awesome, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening, and I like your comments too. Interesting stuff. Okay, if anyone's interested in the exercise, if you go to the beginning of the video, I'll explain it and like kind of step by step it. So, if you walked in the middle and you're like, "What the heck is this guy doing?" If you're interested in doing it at home, I would highly recommend it. If you're interested in scales, really in any kind of way, it doesn't matter your technique. It works with a lot of scales, so check out the exercise if you want. Hey, that's awesome, Unis Tom. Appreciate it, man. So, catch you next time. Okay, take care, Unis. Take care, everyone. Bye bye. Have a good day. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. Maybe I'll see you soon. I don't know. We'll have to see. All right. Bye-bye.